All right, so today we're diving into something, well, frankly, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
John Dee's Hieroglyphic Monad. Have you
I've heard of it. Yeah.
ever tried to imagine the entire universe
hmm
crammed into one symbol?
Ambitious, right.
That's what this is. It's like Dee's trying to create a one-stop shop for understanding, well, everything.
And he was a fascinating guy to attempt it, too. I mean, this wasn't just some, scholar scribbling away in an ivory tower. This was John Dee, advisor to Queen Elizabeth II herself.
Hey, seriously. The Queen's right-hand man was trying to create a universal symbol.
Well, create might be pushing it.
Yeah.
It was more like he believed he'd stumble onto a kind of key, a hidden code within, well, existence itself. And that key, in his mind, was the Hieroglyphic Monad.
Mhm.
He even dedicated the book to Emperor Maximilian, hoping it would, resonate with someone in power.
Okay, so he's aiming high, but why a symbol? What was it about a visual representation that was so important to him?
Because Dee believed that symbols in geometry weren't just, abstract concepts. He saw them as a universal language, a kind of code embedded within the fabric of creation.
So crack the code and you unlock the secrets of the universe.
You got it.
Yeah, okay. I'm intrigued, but I've got to be honest. When I hear symbols and geometry, I think high school math class, not cosmic revelations.
Right. But to Dee, they held immense power. They were a way to tap into the very forces that, in his view, governed reality.
Okay, so less about Pythagorean theorem, more like deciphering the building blocks of existence.
Exactly. And that's where the monad itself comes in. Picture this, all right.
Yeah.
A circle representing the sun. And nestled on top, a crescent moon.
Sun and moon, classic opposites, go on.
But Dee takes it further. He adds a cross, slices the circle right through, and then, for good measure, tosses in the astrological sign of Aries. It's like a cosmic jam session, all these elements coming together.
And this is supposed to be a map to the universe. It's a lot to process.
It is. But for Dee, every line, every curve, every symbol held a specific meaning, like pieces of a giant puzzle waiting to be put together.
So where do we even begin to unpack this puzzle?
We start with the basics. I'm talking lines, circles, points, the fundamental building blocks of, well, everything, according to Dee.
Sounds simple enough, but I'm guessing Dee had a way of making even the simplest things complicated.
You could say that.
Okay, so we're talking lines, circles, points, like the kind of stuff I doodled in my notebook when I was supposed to be paying attention in school.
And just like those doodles, Dee might have seemed a bit eccentric, but here's the thing. He attached profound meaning to these simple forms. For him, the line represented the flow of energy through the universe. The circle symbolized perfection and unity, and the point, well, that was the seed of all creation, the point from which everything unfolds. It's like looking at a cosmic blueprint.
And this blueprint includes a prominent sun and moon, right? What's the significance of those celestial bodies?
They're key players in Dee's cosmic drama. Remember how the moon sits atop the sun and the monad? Well, Dee saw them as more than just celestial bodies. He envisioned them as representing opposing forces locked in a constant dance of push and pull. Think of the sun with its fiery masculine energy, symbolizing action and creation.
And the moon, bathed in cool, silvery light, would be
The feminine principle. It receives, reflects, and nurtures. But it's not just about gender roles on a cosmic scale. Dee was heavily into alchemy, and these celestial bodies also represent specific alchemical processes. The sun embodies transformation through fire, while the moon represents purification through reflection.
So, like the alchemist in his lab, Dee sees the cosmos as this grand laboratory where these forces interact and shape reality. It's a pretty wild concept when you think about it.
Precisely. And speaking of wild concepts, let's not forget the cross embedded within the monad. Now, this isn't just about Christianity for Dee. He connects the cross to the number 10, a number brimming with significance in Kabbalah, the mystical Jewish tradition.
Kabbalah. Now we're getting into some seriously esoteric territory. Can you break that down for us a bit? What's the connection between the number 10, the cross, and, well, everything else?
The number 10 is associated with the tree of life in Kabbalah, which is essentially a map of creation, showing the interconnectedness of everything in the universe. Dee uses the cross to represent the four cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, which in turn connect to the four elements: fire, earth, air, and water.
So we've got directions, elements, it's all starting to weave together. It's like Dee is drawing parallels between the physical and the spiritual realms.
Absolutely. And he takes it a step further, linking it all to the Roman alphabet. He claims that the 21st letter X, which also resembles a cross, signifies the number 10. It's all about finding these hidden connections for Dee.
So he's saying that a simple shape like a cross can represent a number, a concept, even a letter. It's like a secret code waiting to be deciphered.
And that's precisely how Dee saw it. For him, the universe wasn't a random collection of things. It was an intricate tapestry, woven together by these hidden correspondences. And the monad was his attempt to create a visual representation of that grand, interconnected design.
Okay, so we've got this cosmic tapestry, right? All these symbols and numbers weaving together. But Dee wasn't content just with the abstract. He thought this stuff had real-world implications, didn't he?
Absolutely. Dee was a big believer in what he called celestial and inferior astronomy. It's like imagine the universe as a giant clock, yeah?
Okay, I'm imagining.
Celestial astronomy, that's looking at the hands of the clock, those big sweeping movements of the planets. But then there's inferior astronomy, that's down here on Earth, and Dee believed those planetary movements, they directly affected everything happening down here.
So it's like the planets are the gears, and we're caught in the machinery.
Kind of, and this connects to something you probably have heard of astrology.
Oh, you mean it's not just about whether Mercury's in retrograde?
Well, Dee would probably argue it's all connected. But he was really interested in how those planetary positions at your birth or during certain events could influence, well, you, your personality, even your destiny.
Right, that classic astrology concept. But this goes deeper for Dee, doesn't it? It's not just reading your horoscope in the morning paper.
Exactly. For Dee, it was about understanding the connections between the macrocosm, the big universe, and the microcosm, which is us, humans, here on Earth. He saw our bodies as reflections of the cosmos itself.
So it's like we're walking, talking mini universes. That's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
It is. And there are all these little clues, these stories Dee uses to illustrate these ideas. Like, have you heard about the eagle and the scarab beetle?
Oh, yeah, that's in this book, right? Honestly, it's the part that's been sticking with me the most.
It's quite an image. So basically, the scarab beetle, it's seeking revenge on this eagle.
Brutal.
Right. So how does it get back at the eagle? Well, it drops its dung right into Jupiter's lap. Onto an eagle's egg, no less.
Okay, first of all, ew.
Right. So Jupiter, he just flings this dung-covered egg away. It smashes. And the scarab beetle, well, it got its revenge. But here's where Dee connects it to alchemy.
Alchemy. Okay, I am not making the connection here between beetle poop and turning lead into gold. Help me out.
So think of it like this. That eagle's egg, it represents potential. And it gets broken down, purified in a way. Just like alchemists believe they could purify metals.
So it's a metaphor. Dee loves those.
Oh, absolutely. He takes something kind of gross, insignificant even, and shows how it can create change. Just like in alchemy, you're taking base materials and transforming them into something valuable.
Right, right. But Dee, he doesn't just talk the talk, does he? He gets really specific in this book, like down to the tools you need to do this alchemical work.
Oh, yeah. When Dee talks about the vessels of the sacred art, he's basically writing an instruction manual for a cosmic workshop. He's got your glass vessels, mortars, and pestles. He even gets into unperforated pearls and lamelles of crystal.
Sounds fancy. But I'm guessing these weren't just randomly chosen objects, right?
Not at all. Each item was carefully chosen for its properties, how it connected to these larger cosmic forces.
So it's all connected, even down to the tools of the trade. But there's one last piece of this puzzle we haven't touched on: math. Dee was a mathematician at his core, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He even lays out a mathematical formula in the book. He calls it the canon of transposition.
Wait, hold on. Symbols, alchemy, and now we've got equations. I need a spreadsheet just to keep up with this guy.
Well, Dee wasn't known for his simplicity. But at the heart of that formula is the number 4, what he calls the quaternary.
Okay, like the 4 elements, 4 directions.
Exactly. It represents this idea of a solid foundation completeness. Dee believed that if you could truly understand numbers, their properties, how they relate to each other, well, you'd unlock the secrets of the universe's structure.
It's incredible to think that someone back in the 16th century was trying to create a unified theory of everything. Dee was centuries ahead of his time in a lot of ways. We've covered a lot of ground here today, from the meaning behind the monad to alchemy and these powerful numbers. John Dee might have seemed eccentric, but you can't deny his vision, this drive to find the underlying connections in everything. So was he a genius? Or just a man lost in a world of symbols and formulas? That's for you to decide.